Welcome to your weekly Seize the Day cruise show powered by Travel with Brigitte. Now let's turn it over to our hosts, Carla Mesa and Julie Williams. Julie?
And I'm Julie Williams, along with Travel with Brigitte cruise expert Carla Mesa on the Seize the Day cruise show. Today, we're going to delve into transatlantic cruising so you can ponder how to know if a transatlantic cruise is right for you. So, Carla, how do we know if a transatlantic cruise is right for us?
I think first and foremost, you have to really enjoy the journey just as much as the destination, if not more. That's first and foremost. One thing about transatlantic cruising is you're going to have a lot of consecutive sea days. So unless you're someone that doesn't really enjoy sea days, you're probably not going to enjoy the transatlantic itinerary.
Okay, so if you love the sea days and you don't feel like, oh gosh, I've got 2 sea days before I get to wherever, and you look forward to being able to do what you never were able to do because you were always in port, then this is better. Okay.
I would also say someone that can disconnect, that looks forward to disconnecting, that can, can take a break from the world for a few days.
Mm-hmm. I think most have Starlink, but I don't even think that's necessarily guaranteed when you're on a transatlantic that you would get service with Starlink. What do you think?
Not always, but you also have to think about the time of year and like weather conditions and storms. So that could be a factor. And that's why you have to kind of have to plan and prepare for the worst. Sure, you're going to get your internet package, and most ships, like you said, do have Starlink now, but things happen.
Yeah. I would love to do transatlantic, but I'm not really sure I could deal with that part. So I don't know. All right. How else would we know? Like, what are some other things to know if it's right for us?
Someone that enjoys fewer crowds. So this isn't always going to be, the most popular itinerary, again, because you don't have as many stops. A lot of these transatlantic sailings, they're for the more traditional travelers that maybe they don't want to fly from Europe to the US or vice versa. And these people are just trying to get from point A to point B. So you're going to have less crowds. It's going to be more of an experienced cruiser type of person that you're going to meet on this ship. Like I said, probably an older demographic as well. I won't say that they're not family friendly, but you might not see as many young families aboard for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, unless you did it in the summer, and I don't know if they really do that very much, but the kids will be in school. And I think it might be hard to entertain kids all that time with like 6 sea days in a row or, something like that, or even more. So What about the thing I think that most people think about is, will I get seasick? The Atlantic can get pretty rough. The Pacific, I don't think gets as rough, but I really don't know.
That's definitely a factor. Yeah. Again, with more sea days, consecutive sea days at that, you definitely have to think about that. If you're someone that's prone to seasickness, you're kind of giving yourself more possibilities for that to happen for sure. I mean, again, this is something that you can prepare for. There are items you can, test out and use on the ship, not just that, but again, we've talked about it many times, depending where your stateroom is as well. You definitely want to pay attention to where you're staying on the ship to help mitigate that as well. A lot of these transatlantics, you generally want to plan ahead. So as long as you're working with your travel agent, it shouldn't be too difficult to get a decent stateroom where you're not going to get as sick, or you're going to, have less possibility of getting sick.
Right. And also, we've got previous podcasts on our YouTube page about handling seasickness, to different things that you can do, things that you can bring with you, or the cruise line. This is not new to them. They can help you with that. By the way, we also have a free 1-page reference sheet of today's Seize the Day cruise show in the show notes. So coming up, we've got 3 major differences between a transatlantic cruise and, well, the cruises that you might be used to, the regular itineraries. That's coming up in just a bit.
You're listening to the Seize the Day Cruise Show, powered by Travel with Brigitte. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this topic, so be sure to leave a comment below.
We've been talking about transatlantic cruising. Carla, give us three major differences between transatlantic and short cruises, like, a week or two that we might normally take.
So one, major difference is it's going to be a lot slower paced, so you're not going to feel like, you have to get all this, you have to see every part of the ship and, do all the extracurriculars all jam packed into like a 5 to 6 day itinerary where you also have, 2 to 3 ports where you're going to stop. So that can be really nice for someone that really wants to take their time, wants to explore, wants to see, everything the ship has to offer. So that's really nice. It's much slower paced, and it's, not port driven. So you're not worried about what kind of excursion you're going to book, or you're not doing the extra research into all your different port days and what to do there. You get to really enjoy the ship.
And you might get to do things that maybe you didn't have time for, like a tour of the bridge, or, some of those other activities that they do on board that maybe you just didn't have time for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be my second point is, the itinerary is very different. It's not something where you're looking at like, oh, where are we stopping? Or you're not choosing this sailing based on the different ports. If you haven't been here or been there, it's specifically because you're looking for something that has less of that. You're going to stay on the ship. And for some people, that's really great, especially like for foodies. If someone has the goal of, I want to try every specialty restaurant on the ship, or, the meat was great last time, great quality, but I hardly had seafood. That's what I want to try this time. People that have different food goals. I mean, some people, they can eat multiple times in a day. Some people can't, but they want to. So having extra time for that is a major difference that some people look forward to.
Wow.
Another one, since it is a little longer of a sailing, it sometimes can be a little more budget friendly because a longer sailing is going to have a lower per day rate. Of course, it's going to, you're paying for probably 2 weeks or so, but when you break it down per day, you're probably paying less than you would for like a quick 3 to 4 or even 7 day sailing.
Mm-hmm. But then you've got not like a round trip airfare to like Galveston or Miami.
Yes, that's a good point.
Into wherever it is intercontinentally, and it's a 1 day. I mean, what are those costs like? Do they make up the difference?
So it depends on how you plan, and it depends on what your goal is. So like for myself, I don't have any plans of doing a transatlantic cruise anytime soon, but whenever I've thought about it, the way I would want to approach it is I would prefer to fly first. I would say I was doing something from like Southampton, UK. I would prefer to do the flight first, get over there, maybe a good probably 3 or 4 days beforehand. And I'd like to spend some time there first. I'd like to get to know the area, let the jet lag kind of maybe wear off if that's at all possible, to get, not feel so tired, and then board the ship and then enjoy that and not worry about the flight home. People do it differently. I've even had clients where they're like, we want to spend a whole 2 weeks before, or vice versa. They're in the UK, they're coming this way, and that's their way of getting here, but they're going to do a whole, 2 to 3 weeks US tour type of thing and then make their way home.
If you can, I'd say that's the way to do it, because you're going to pay so much for airfare one way.
Exactly.
But why not enjoy it? And especially the way you talked about it, go in Europe and then relax on the way home. Or something like that. So one type of transatlantic cruise that I've been thinking about is a repositioning cruise, because I've heard it's less expensive. Can you explain what that is and tell us all about it?
Yes. So sometimes people they get confused and think that a transatlantic cruise is a repositioning cruise, or a repositioning cruise is only a transatlantic cruise. But what a repositioning cruise is specifically is a ship that has been docked, or has a home port. So let's just use Miami as an example. This ship has been in Miami all of 2025. Well, now it's being repositioned to Galveston for the year of 2026. That'll be its new home port. Well, the ship has to get from A to B, and what the cruise lines do is they set out like a discounted rate for whoever wants to do that sailing from point A to B. So it's very similar to the transatlantic in the sense that you're starting in one place and you're ending in another place, but there are so many different ports that point A and point B can be. So it's not always going to be this long transatlantic sailing just because it's a repositioning sailing. Does that make sense?
You might not have extended time of sea days, like maybe one, maybe two, but not 10.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily going to be this long sailing, but it can be a very, very budget friendly sailing. Again, you do have to think about the fact that you're starting in one area and ending in another. So you do have the additional travel costs. You know, maybe they're close enough that it's not that expensive of a flight, or like I said before, I would take advantage and say, if, for our example, say we're starting in Miami, ending in Galveston, Galveston is my home port. I'll go spend a few days in Miami first, get on the ship, and then come back. So that's going to be your major difference with repositioning.
Right. And what about for spring and fall repositioning? I've heard that's the best time. If for the international reposition, it might even be the best time for like New York to, I don't know, Miami or Galveston or whatever. Tell us about the timing.
Yes, in general, that is the best timing as far as weather and conditions wise. So like the itineraries are great, but it's also it's also when we have a lot of like ship inspections and changes to itineraries, and that's also like the big boom of like spring break as well. So you will have some sprinkled in there as far as the cruise lines getting ready for their busy time. They're going to start doing a lot of these repositioning cruises so that all the ships are where they're supposed to be for the busier spring into summer sailings.
Right. Hey, don't forget to download that free reference sheet of today's Seize the Day cruise show in the show notes. Carla, before we close, is there anything that you would like to add about transatlantic cruising or even repositioning cruising?
Yeah, just, you just really want to be prepared and open for all the sea days that could be coming with it, and, the potential motion sickness, but also just being open to a different type of itinerary than you're probably used to, and a different pace.
Okay, thank you, Carla. Till next week, we're Carla and Julie, encouraging you to seize the day.
Thank you for joining us today on the Seize the Day Cruise Show, powered by Travel with Brigitte. If you enjoyed today's episode, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to add your own 2 cents below. By the way, you can book a cruise 24/7 at bookings@travelwithbrigitte.com. Let us show you how we can get you a better value than you'd get on your own. And join us again next week on the Seize the Day Cruise Show.